Hello hockey fans and welcome back to another episode of Whatever Happened To, the series where we take a where are they now look at players who found success in the National Hockey League but are no longer permanent fixtures in the league either due to controversy, poor play or just rotten luck. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at a 9-year veteran of the league and a 2-time Stanley Cup champion, as we ask, whatever happened to Marcus Kruger? The 149th overall pick of the 2009 NHL draft by the Chicago Blackhawks, Marcus Kruger would spend the next 2 years of his career in his native Sweden, as he suited up for SHL side Djurgården IF and scored 66 points in 90 regular season games. After signing his entry-level contract with the Blackhawks on June 18, 2010, and after potting 35 points in 52 games during the 10-11 SHL season, Kruger would make the move to North America and officially join the Blackhawks organisation, as he was recalled by Chicago on March 23, 2011, once Djurgården's playoff run had reached a premature end. Having taken his talents across the pond for the first time in his career, Kruger would quickly find himself in the best league in the world, as he would immediately join Chicago's roster and take to the ice in his NHL debut. In fact, Kruger would end up spending the rest of the year with the Blackhawks, where he went scoreless in 7 regular season games, while notching a single assist in 5 playoff games, as Chicago were eliminated in the first round by the Vancouver Canucks. Though he had played just a handful of NHL games that year, and though he had made a limited impact during that span, thanks to his performance over the coming seasons, Kruger would end up sticking around for quite some time. The 11-12 NHL season would see Kruger attend Chicago's preseason training camp for the very first time and earn a place on the Blackhawks' opening night roster. From there, the Swedish forward would spend the entire year with Chicago and produce a respectable rookie season, as he potted 9 goals and 26 points in 71 games. This performance would help Chicago book another postseason appearance, but Kruger went scoreless in 6 playoff games, as the Blackhawks were eliminated in the first round once again, this time by the Phoenix Coyotes. Though they had failed to win a single round for the second year in a row, Kruger had shown notable improvement in his overall play and had solidified his place on the Blackhawks roster. Sure, he hadn't lit the league on fire offensively, and he wasn't going to win the Calder anytime soon, but the forward's strong two-way game and his reliable defensive play had made him an integral member of the team's bottom 6. With him entering the final year of his rookie deal, Kruger was eager to take his game to the next level, earn a new contract with Chicago, and prove that he could be a valuable member of the roster moving forwards. But first, there was a lockout! During the 12-13 lockout, Kruger would remain in North America and suit up for Chicago's AHL affiliate, the Rockford IceHogs. After playing 34 games with the team, and after scoring 22 points during that span, the lockout would finally come to an end, and Kruger would return to the Blackhawks shortly after. From there, the Swedish forward would spend the rest of the year with Chicago, but would struggle to score at a similar pace to his rookie year prior, as he potted 4 goals and 13 points in 47 games. Despite this clear step backwards, Chicago would punch their ticket to the postseason once again, where Kruger scored 5 points in 23 playoff games to help the Blackhawks defeat the Boston Bruins in the finals and clinch the 2013 Stanley Cup. So just 4 years after being drafted by the team, and only 2 seasons after earning a place on the roster, Marcus Kruger had won the first championship of his NHL career. Thanks to his performance over the coming years, this wouldn't be his last. Once his entry-level contract had expired, and having helped Chicago clinch their second cup in 4 years, both Kruger and the Blackhawks were eager to keep their partnership going for a little while longer. This mutual interest culminated in Kruger signing a 2-year, $2.65 million contract with Chicago, worth an average annual value of $1.28 million a season on July 14, 2013. So thanks to his cup-winning contributions and his modest price tag, Kruger would be sticking around in Chicago for the foreseeable future, and had secured a notable raise in his salary in order to do so. Luckily for both the player and the organisation, this deal would work out pretty well for both sides. The next 2 years of Kruger's career would see the forward take his game to even greater heights and add another ring to his collection. after setting new career highs in assists and points during the 13-14 NHL season thanks to scoring 8 goals and 28 points in 81 games, Kruger's production would take a notable step backwards during the following 14-15 season, as the 24-year-old notched 7 goals and 17 points in 81 games that year. Despite these clear offensive struggles, Kruger's reliable defensive play would help Chicago secure another championship, as his 4 points in 23 games during the 2015 playoffs would help the Blackhawks defeat the Tampa Bay Lightning in the finals and clinch the 2015 Stanley Cup. And just like that, Kruger had lifted his second championship in just 3 years, and helped Chicago secure their third cup in the last 6 seasons. Now that's what I call a dynasty, folks. Once his 2-year contract had expired, and having helped his team clinch another championship, both Kruger and the Blackhawks were eager to come to terms on a new deal. This led to Kruger signing a 1-year contract worth $1.5 million with Chicago on September 11th, 2015. Though he would be sticking around for the foreseeable future, and he had secured another modest raise to his salary, Kruger was about to experience his toughest year yet. The 15-16 season saw Kruger suit up for the Blackhawks yet again, and look to rebound offensively from his underwhelming year prior. Unfortunately though, things wouldn't turn out that way, as Kruger suffered a wrist injury midway through the season that would keep him out of the lineup for several months. Though he would eventually recover from his ailments and return to the roster before the end of the year, Kruger would fail to contribute any scoring for his team, as he potted just 4 assists in 41 games that season. Despite clearly struggling all year long, Chicago would extend Kruger's contract midway through the season, as he signed a 3-year, $9.25 million contract worth an average annual value of roughly $3 million a season on March 8, 2016. From there, Kruger would score a single point in 7 playoff games as Chicago returned to the postseason once more, but the defending champions were eliminated in the first round by the St. Louis Blues. Though he had clearly produced the worst season of his 6-year NHL career, Chicago weren't about to give up on Kruger just yet. After all, the team had just signed him to a 3-year extension and had doubled his salary too. They knew just how valuable he could be to a championship-winning roster, and they expected him to reach even greater heights during the prime years of his career. Though his latest contract would be the biggest and most expensive deal of Kruger's NHL career, it would also become his last. The 16-17 season saw Kruger return to the Blackhawks lineup once more and bounce back from his disappointing year prior. Though he would stay healthy for the majority of the season, and though his defensive play would remain as consistent and reliable as ever, Kruger's offensive production would be limited once again, as he potted 5 goals and 17 points in 70 games that year. This performance would help Chicago return to the postseason, where Kruger scored a single point in 4 playoff games, but the Blackhawks were eliminated in the first round once again, this time by the Nashville Predators. So after avoiding the injury bug all year long, and after producing similar scoring numbers to seasons past, Kruger seemed to be back to his old self again. However, the forward wouldn't stick around in Chicago for much longer. With the Blackhawks desperate to free up cap space, and with Kruger earning $3 million a year, on July 2nd, 2017, Chicago traded Kruger to the Vegas Golden Knights in exchange for future considerations. However, just 2 days later on July 4th, Kruger was traded for a second time, as he was dealt to the Carolina Hurricanes in exchange for a 2018 5th-round pick. So after being drafted by the team nearly a decade prior, and after winning a pair of championships with the organisation, Kruger had left Chicago behind and had been shipped off to the league's newest expansion team before being flipped to the Hurricanes shortly after. Though he had just been handed a fresh start in a new city, Kruger's tenure in Carolina wouldn't go too well. The 17-18 season saw Kruger suit up for the Hurricanes for the first time and look to make a strong impression for his new team. Unfortunately though, the forward would struggle in his new surroundings, as he registered just a single goal, 6 points and a -6 rating in his first 48 games of the year. Since he had clearly underperformed on both sides of the puck, and since he had failed to live up to his yearly cap hit, Carolina placed Kruger on waivers on February 8, 2018. Once the following day had arrived and no other team had claimed him, Kruger was reassigned to Carolina's AHL affiliate, the Charlotte Checkers. In fact, the 28-year-old would remain in the minors for the rest of the season, where he scored 8 points in 19 games and failed to make an appearance during the playoffs. Once his debut year with Carolina had concluded, and having finished the season in the AHL, the Hurricanes had no intention of keeping Kruger around. This led to him being traded to the Arizona Coyotes on May 3rd, 2018, in exchange for Jordan Martinook and a 2018 fourth-round pick. However, roughly 2 months later on July 12th, Kruger would return to a familiar franchise, as he was traded back to Chicago along with Mackenzie Entwistle, Jordan Maletta and Andrew Campbell in exchange for Marian Hossa's contract, Vinny Hinostroza, Jordan Osterley and a 2019 third-round pick. So after spending a lone season with the Hurricanes and after ending the year in the minors, Kruger had been reacquired by his former team and would be taking his talents back to Chicago. Though both the player and the organisation would welcome this reunion, it would also signal the beginning of the end of Kruger's NHL career. The 18-19 season saw Kruger return to Chicago and look to get his career back on track. While he would earn a place on the Blackhawks roster out of training camp, and while he would remain with the team for the entire year, the 29-year-old would continue to register limited scoring numbers, as he potted 4 goals and 12 points in 74 regular season games. Unfortunately, this production wouldn't be enough to help Kruger return to the playoffs, as Chicago failed to clinch a postseason berth for the second year in a row. Once his 3-year contract had expired, and having struggled to make an impact for several seasons now, Chicago declined to re-sign Kruger for the upcoming season of play. After entering free agency for the first time in his career, and with the rest of the league showing little interest in his services, Kruger elected to return overseas, as on July 5th, 2019, Kruger signed a 2-year contract with the Zurich Lions of the Swiss National League. So after parts of 9 seasons in the best league in the world, and after a pair of Stanley Cup championships, Kruger was heading back across the pond for the first time since 2009 and taking his talents to Switzerland. Since then, Marcus Kruger has spent the last 3 seasons playing exclusively for Zurich, where he has produced an impressive tenure with the team. After notching 19 points in 34 games during his debut season, and after potting 23 points in 41 games during the following year, the alternate captain of the team would sign a 1-year extension in order to remain with Zurich for the current 21-22 season, where he has registered his most productive year yet, thanks to scoring 27 points in 45 games. This performance would help Zurich punch their ticket to the National League playoffs, where the Lions are currently facing EHC Biel in the first round, and where Kruger has gone scoreless in 2 postseason games at the time of this recording. However, this playoff run will be Kruger's final stint with the team, as on January 31st, 2022, it was revealed that the 31-year-old forward shall be returning to Sweden for the 22-23 season, as he signed a 4-year contract with SHL side Djurgården IF. So after nearly a decade in North America, and after 3 years in Switzerland, Kruger shall be heading back to where it all began in order to spend the twilight years of his career with his hometown team. Don't you just love a happy ending? But regardless of how his homecoming plays out, there's no denying that Marcus Kruger produced a pretty impressive NHL career. After all, in 520 regular season games, Kruger scored 38 goals and 85 assists for 123 points, as well as 16 points in 87 playoff games. Add to that his 2 Stanley Cup championships and his roughly $15 million of career earnings, and he certainly could have done a lot worse for himself. Not bad for a former 5th round draft pick, eh, folks? And there you go. That's what happened to Marcus Kruger. What do you guys think about Kruger's NHL career? Was it good, bad, or do you think he should have stuck around in the show for a little while longer? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear what you guys think. But thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share, or watch some of my other videos. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye! A big thank you to Clayton Hallam, Drew Fawcett, Houston NG, Raquel Henriques and Worthless Pieces for helping support this video via Patreon. If you too want to help support the channel a little bit further and get a shout out at the end of every future video, make sure you head over to patreon.com/oddmanrush and become a patron today.